6 months into our engagement, I felt like the luckiest man alive. Lauren had said yes on that perfect beach sunset, and we were planning our future together. Everything seemed right until my shoulder surgery was scheduled after a car accident. I had complete faith she would be there for me. But when her best friend Justin announced his birthday party on the same day, I noticed how her eyes lit up. Something felt off about their friendship, but I pushed those thoughts away. Could I truly trust the woman I was about to marry? Before I share more about this thought-provoking story, let me know where you are watching from, and hit subscribe if you have ever experienced betrayal in love. I am Matthew, a 29-year-old software engineer based in Boston. My life changed forever 2 years ago at a tech conference downtown. That is where I first saw Lauren. She stood confidently by a marketing booth, her intelligent eyes scanning the crowd as she explained her company's newest campaign. I found myself drawn to her immediately. Her warm smile, her passionate way of speaking, her genuine interest in technology, despite working in marketing. I gathered my courage and approached her after her presentation. That was impressive, I told her. You made even me interested in digital marketing analytics. She laughed a sound that would become my favorite melody. Mission accomplished then. I am Lauren, by the way. We exchanged numbers, and I called her the next day. Our first date was at a small Italian restaurant overlooking the harbor. The conversation flowed effortlessly, as if we had known each other for years. Lauren was 27, ambitious, creative, and had the most captivating laugh. Within weeks, we were inseparable. Our relationship progressed quickly. We shared similar values, complementary ambitions, and the same sense of humor. After a year of dating, we moved in together. Our apartment became a haven filled with shared dreams and quiet moments of contentment. I knew she was the one I wanted to spend my life with. The proposal happened 6 months ago at sunset on Crane Beach. I had spent weeks planning every detail. I arranged a picnic with her favorite foods, champagne chilling in a cooler, and a photographer hiding nearby to capture the moment. When I got down on one knee and opened the velvet box containing the oval diamond ring she had once pointed out in a jewelry store window, Lauren gasped. Tears streamed down her face as she nodded emphatically before finding her voice. Yes, Matthew. 1,000 times yes. The next few months were a whirlwind of happiness. Our families were thrilled. Her parents hosted an engagement party at their suburban home, where everyone toasted our future. My mother immediately bonded with Lauren, often calling her to discuss wedding details. Everything felt perfect. It was around this time that Justin became a more prominent figure in our lives. Lauren had mentioned him before, her best friend from college days, but he had been living on the West Coast until recently. Now back in Boston, he immediately reclaimed his place in Lauren's life. At first, I did not think much of it. It seemed natural that Lauren would want to reconnect with an old friend, but certain behaviors began to make me uneasy. Justin would hug Lauren just a little too long. He would text her late at night, sometimes causing her to laugh at inside jokes she never explained. They had countless memories I was not part of, and sometimes when we were all together, I felt like the outsider. Justin and I just have history, Lauren would explain whenever I carefully brought up my discomfort. He is like a brother to me. You have nothing to worry about. I wanted to believe her. I did believe her. I trusted Lauren completely and tried to push down my insecurities. Maybe I was being overprotective or jealous without reason. After all, Lauren had chosen me. She was going to marry me. Then came the accident 2 months before our wedding date. I was driving home from work when another car ran a red light and slammed into my side. I was lucky to escape with only a severe shoulder injury, but the orthopedic specialist delivered sobering news. I would need complex surgery to repair the extensive damage to my rotator cuff and labrum, followed by months of physical therapy. The recovery would be painful and would require significant support, especially in the first few weeks. Lauren seemed supportive when I first told her the news. She held my hand in the doctor's office, asking intelligent questions about the recovery process. She promised to take care of me, to be there every step of the way. I believed her because I had never had reason not to. "We will get through this together," she assured me, squeezing my good hand. "For better or for worse, right? We are just getting some practice in early." I smiled through the pain medication haze, feeling grateful to have her by my side for life's unexpected challenges. Little did I know how quickly that sense of security would crumble. The surgery was scheduled for a Thursday, and as the date approached, my anxiety grew. Not just about the procedure itself, but about the recovery. The doctor had been clear I would be essentially one-handed for at least 2 weeks. Simple tasks like showering, dressing, and preparing food would be challenging. Lauren had requested time off work to help me through the worst of it, and her support was the one bright spot in an otherwise daunting situation. 2 days before my surgery, Lauren came home agitated. She paced the living room while I sat on the couch, my shoulder throbbing as it often did these days. "Justin just called," she said finally. "He is throwing a huge birthday party on Thursday night. Everyone will be there. He says it has been planned for months." I nodded, not immediately seeing the issue. "That is nice. You can tell him you will catch the next one." Lauren stopped pacing and looked at me directly. "The thing is, I really want to go. It is not just any party. It is at the Avery, that exclusive rooftop bar downtown. He has reserved the entire space, and all our college friends will be there, people I have not seen in years." The implication hung in the air between us. She wanted to attend a party on the day of my surgery. "I could still take you to the hospital and get you settled at home." Afterward, she continued, her words coming faster now. "The party does not start until 8. I would make sure you have everything you need before I go." I could not believe what I was hearing. "Lauren, I will be just out of surgery. I will be in pain, groggy from anesthesia, and completely unable to care for myself. The doctor specifically said I would need supervision that first night." "I know, but it would only be for a few hours," she insisted. "I could come home by midnight." Our first serious argument erupted from there. I expressed my hurt and disappointment that she would even consider leaving me alone in such a vulnerable state. Lauren became defensive, accusing me of trying to control her and guilt-trip her. "You always get weird about Justin," she said, her voice rising. "I am allowed to have friends and a life outside of our relationship. This surgery does not mean my entire life stops." "This is not about Justin," I replied, though deep down I wondered if it was at least partially. "This is about you choosing a party over being there for me when I need you most. That is not what partners do." She eventually stormed out of the room, and we barely spoke the next day. The tension was thick as we drove to the hospital on Thursday morning. Lauren was distant, checking her phone frequently, and sighing heavily as we waited in the pre-op area. When the nurses came to take me to surgery, she gave me a quick kiss that felt more obligatory than loving. I woke up hours later, disoriented and in considerable pain. The recovery room nurse explained that the surgery had taken longer than expected due to the extent of the damage. When I was finally cleared to go home, Lauren was waiting, but her impatience was palpable. She rushed through the discharge instructions and hurried me to the car. Back at our apartment, she helped me to bed with minimal communication, brought me my pain medication and a glass of water, and placed a few pre-made sandwiches and snacks on the nightstand. "These should hold you for a while," she said already, moving toward the bathroom. "I will have my phone if you need anything urgent." I watched in stunned silence as she emerged 30 minutes later, completely transformed. Her hair was styled in elegant waves, her makeup flawless with smoky eyes and red lips. She wore a tight black dress I had never seen before, one that hugged every curve of her body and high heels that made her legs look endless. "You are really going," I said, my voice hollow with disbelief. It was not a question. "I will not be late," she replied, not quite meeting my eyes. "Try to get some sleep. That is what the doctor recommended anyway." And just like that, she was gone. I lay in our bed, shoulder throbbing despite the medication, trying to process what had just happened. The woman I was planning to marry had left me alone, hours after major surgery, to attend a party with the man who had always made me uncomfortable. As the night progressed, The pain intensified, both physical and emotional. I tried calling Lauren several times when I needed help adjusting my position and taking the next round of medication, but the calls went straight to voicemail. Her phone was off. I struggled to the bathroom alone, nearly falling in the process, and could not manage to get the cap off my prescription bottle with one hand. Around 11, feeling utterly abandoned and increasingly concerned, I reached for my tablet. Perhaps there would be some update, some explanation. I opened Instagram to find multiple posts from mutual friends at the party. I scrolled until I found one that made my stomach drop. Lauren, champagne glass in hand, pressed against Justin's side. His arm was wrapped around her waist, his hand resting lower than any just friends contact would justify. They were both laughing, looking into each other's eyes with unmistakable intimacy. I stared at the photo, until my vision blurred, partly from the medication, partly from the tears I refused to acknowledge. Something broke inside me that night, something essential that I feared might never be repaired. I do not remember falling asleep, but I was awakened by the sound of keys in the door around 3 a.m. Lauren stumbled in, kicking off her heels in the hallway and making her way to our bedroom. The scent of alcohol and unfamiliar cologne filled the air around her. "You are still up," she said, sounding surprised and slightly slurred. "Hard to sleep when you are in pain and alone," I replied, my voice steadier than I expected. The hours of solitude had crystallized something within me. "Did you have a good time?" "It was amazing," she gushed, apparently missing or ignoring my tone. Everyone was there. We had the whole rooftop to ourselves, and the view was incredible. Justin really went all out. "I called you," I said, multiple times. Her expression shifted, a flash of guilt, quickly replaced by defensiveness. I turned my phone off. It was too loud in there to hear it anyway, and I wanted to enjoy the night without interruptions. "Interruptions," I repeated. "Is that what I am to you now? An interruption?" "That is not what I meant, and you know it." She began removing her earrings with jerky motions. "You are being oversensitive. I told you I would be back, and here I am." "I saw the pictures, Lauren. From the party." She froze momentarily before continuing to undress. "What pictures? You and Justin? Looking very comfortable together. More than friends usually do." "Oh my God, are we really doing this right now?" she exclaimed. "I just got home after a long night, and you are immediately starting with the jealousy. You need to grow up, Matthew. Justin and I have been friends forever. There is nothing inappropriate happening. You left me alone after surgery to go party with him," I said, my voice rising despite the pain it caused in my shoulder. "What kind of fiancé does that? The kind who needs some space sometimes," she shouted back. "The kind who does not want her entire identity to be someone's caretaker. I am allowed to have my own life, my own friends." "This is not about friends or space," I argued. "This is about basic decency and respect. I would never have left you alone when you needed me. Never." The argument escalated as Lauren continued to deflect and minimize. At one point, her phone lit up on the dresser with a text notification. I could see Justin's name and the preview of a message that made my blood run cold. "Tonight was perfect. We should have done this years ago. Cannot stop thinking about." "What does he mean by that?" I asked, nodding toward her phone. Lauren grabbed it quickly, reading the full message before her face flushed. "It is not what you think. He is just being dramatic and nostalgic about having the old crowd together again." "Show me the message," I said. "No, I do not have to show you my private conversations. This is exactly what I mean about you being controlling." But in that moment, looking at her flustered expression and defensive posture, everything became clear. The late-night texts, the inside jokes, the lingering hugs, her eagerness to spend time with him, even at my expense. Whether anything physical had happened yet or not, there was something more than friendship between them, and Lauren had chosen that connection over her commitment to me at the moment I needed her most. A strange calm settled over me as I made my decision. "I cannot marry you." Lauren's eyes widened. "What? You cannot be serious. You are overreacting because you are in pain and emotional right now." No, I am seeing clearly for the first time, I replied. A person who would abandon their partner after surgery to party with someone else is not a person I want to build a life with. A woman who turns off her phone when her injured fiancé might need her is not someone I can trust. This relationship is over. You cannot end our engagement over one night, she cried, panic now replacing her earlier defiance. It is not just one night. It is what this night revealed about your character, your priorities, and your feelings toward me. I deserve better than this, Lauren. We both know it. Matthew, please, she begged, suddenly sobering. I made a mistake. I am sorry. I will make it up to you. I want you to leave, I said quietly. Not tonight, but tomorrow. You can stay in the guest room for now. This is my apartment too, she protested. My name is on the lease. I pay 70% of the rent, and I just had surgery. I am not the one who should be displaced. Lauren began to cry, mascara streaking down her cheeks. You cannot do this. We are getting married in 2 months. Everything is booked and paid for. I would rather lose the deposits than spend my life with someone who has shown me exactly who they are, someone who puts themselves first, even when I am at my most vulnerable. When she continued to protest and refused to leave the room, I did something I had never imagined doing. I called her parents. It was nearly 4 in the morning, but I knew they would answer for me, their future son-in-law. I explained the situation as calmly as I could, telling them Lauren needed to be picked up tomorrow and that the wedding was off. Her father, always a reasonable man, asked to speak with Lauren. I put the call on speaker and watched as she tried to paint me as unreasonable, but her story fell apart under her father's gentle questioning. When she admitted she had indeed left me alone after surgery to attend a party, the disappointment in his voice was palpable. We will be there at noon tomorrow, he said finally. Lauren, start packing your things tonight. After the call ended, Lauren collapsed onto the floor, finally understanding the gravity of what had happened. Matthew, I love you. Please do not do this. I made one stupid mistake. I looked at the woman I had planned to marry now, a stranger to me. A mistake is forgetting to pick up milk on the way home. What you did was a choice, Lauren. A choice that revealed your true priorities, and I am not one of them. The next morning, moving stiffly and in considerable pain, I removed her engagement ring from her finger while she slept in the guest room. I placed it in its original box and set it on the kitchen counter, beside a note. A person who does not put me first when I need them most does not deserve to be my wife. When her parents arrived, her mother tearful and her father solemn, I handed them the ring. I am sorry it ended this way, I told them honestly. I truly expected to be your son-in-law. Her father clasped my good shoulder gently. You are a good man, Matthew. I wish my daughter had recognized what she was losing. Lauren left with 3 suitcases and a broken engagement, while I began the long process of healing in more ways than one. The first week after Lauren moved out was the hardest physically. My parents took turns coming to help me with basic needs. Friends dropped by with groceries and meals. My sister stayed for a weekend to clean the apartment and help me organize a system I could manage one-handed. The support reminded me that there were people in my life who would drop everything to be there for me, making Lauren's betrayal all the more stark by comparison. Canceling wedding plans was surprisingly cathartic. Each phone call to vendors, each email to guests, felt like cutting another thread that had tied me to a future that would have been built on a flawed foundation. Most people were understanding, though some expressed shock or tried to convince me to reconsider. Are you sure you are not just angry right now? My cousin asked when I called to tell him the news. Every couple has rough patches. This was not a rough patch, I explained. This was a fundamental revelation of character. I cannot marry someone I cannot trust to be there when it counts. My therapist, whom I started seeing 2 weeks after the breakup, helped me understand that my decision had not been impulsive or excessive. You recognized a pattern that would have continued into your marriage, she told me. Many people ignore these red flags and spend years in unhappy relationships. As my shoulder slowly healed, so did my heart. I threw myself into physical therapy, determined to regain full range of motion. I accepted a promotion at work that I had previously hesitated about, because Lauren had worried it would require more travel. I reconnected with friends I had seen less frequently during my relationship and made new ones at a tech meetup group I joined. I established routines that brought me peace. Morning runs along the Charles River, weekend hikes in the Blue Hills, evening cooking classes where I learned to make complex meals one-handed. I started reading again, something I had always loved, but had gradually done less of as Lauren preferred. We spent evenings watching reality TV shows. My apartment transformed as well. I replaced the furniture Lauren and I had chosen together with pieces that better reflected my own taste. I painted the bedroom a calm blue instead of the bold red she had insisted on. Small changes that helped me reclaim my space and my identity. Throughout those months, Lauren made numerous attempts to contact me. At first, her messages were angry, blaming me for overreacting and ruining everything. Then came the guilt trips about money lost on wedding deposits and how embarrassed she was to tell people. Finally, there were apologies and pleas for another chance. I read them all but responded to none. Each message only confirmed my decision had been right. She focused on her feelings, her embarrassment, her pain, never truly acknowledging the depth of her betrayal or showing genuine remorse for hurting me when I was most vulnerable. From mutual friends, I heard that Justin and Lauren had indeed begun dating shortly after our breakup, confirming all my suspicions. The relationship burned hot and fast, lasting only 6 weeks before imploding spectacularly when she caught him cheating with another woman from their college days. I felt no satisfaction at the news, only a renewed sense of having escaped a future filled with pain and betrayal. I silently wished Lauren healing and growth, but from a permanent distance. 3 months after she moved out on a rainy Sunday afternoon, my doorbell rang unexpectedly. When I opened the door, Lauren stood there soaking wet mascara running down her face, looking utterly broken. "Matthew," she sobbed, "please can I come in, just to talk?" Against my better judgment, I let her in, but left the door open, a symbolic boundary. "I made the biggest mistake of my life," she said, standing awkwardly in the entryway, dripping onto the hardwood floor. "Justin and I got together right after you and I broke up. I thought he was what I wanted, but he treated me terribly. He cheated on me. He never really cared about me the way you did. I am sorry that happened to you," I said sincerely. "No one deserves to be cheated on. The thing is," she continued, her voice breaking, "losing you made me realize what real love looks like, what I threw away. You were always there for me, always supportive and kind. You loved me in a way I did not appreciate until it was gone." She stepped toward me, and I instinctively stepped back. "I miss you every day," she whispered. "I miss our life together. I miss the future we planned. Please, Matthew, give me another chance. I will spend every day making it up to you. I will prove that I can be the woman you deserve." I looked at Lauren, standing in my entryway, her makeup-smeared hair plastered to her face from the rain, and felt a complicated mix of emotions. There was a time when this moment would have been all I wanted, when her tears and pleas would have seemed like victory. But now they just seemed sad. "Would you like a towel?" I offered, maintaining distance between us. "You are soaking wet." She nodded gratefully, and I retrieved a clean towel from the hall closet, handling it to her, without our fingers touching. "The apartment looks different," she noted, looking around as she dried her face. "It looks good. More like you." "It is more like me," I agreed. I needed to make it my own again. We moved to the living room, Lauren sitting on the edge of the couch, while I took the armchair across from her. The physical separation felt necessary and right. "I understand if you hate me," she began. "I do not hate you, Lauren," I interrupted gently. "That is not why I cannot take you back." She looked up, hope flickering in her eyes. Then why I took a deep breath. "Do you remember when we first started dating, and you told me about your parents' marriage, how your mom stood by your dad through his battle with cancer, how she slept in hospital chairs for weeks, never leaving his side?" Lauren nodded, tears welling up again. "You told me that was the kind of love you wanted. the kind that shows up no matter what. The thing is, Lauren, when I needed that from you, you chose differently. And it was not a split-second decision in a moment of crisis. It was a calculated choice to put your wants above my needs. It was one mistake, she protested weakly. No, I said firmly but not unkindly. It was a revelation of character. In that moment when I was at my most vulnerable, I saw who you really are. And that is not something that can be undone or fixed with promises to do better. People change, she insisted. I have changed. Losing you, then going through everything with Justin Dotted, made me realize what matters. I believe you have learned something I acknowledged, and I truly hope that knowledge serves you well in your next relationship. But it will not be with me. Some bridges, once burned, cannot be rebuilt. Lauren stared at her hands for a long moment. Is there someone else? She finally asked. I considered lying to make this easier, but that was not who I was. Yes, I have been seeing someone. Her name is Stephanie. She is a physical therapist I met during my recovery. But that is not why I cannot reconcile with you. Even if I were completely single, my answer would be the same. Fresh tears spilled down her cheeks. Do you love her? We are taking things slowly, I said carefully. But yes, I am falling in love with her. She is kind, thoughtful, and puts others first. She makes me feel valued. The way I should have, Lauren whispered. The way we both deserve. From our partners, I corrected. We sat in silence for several minutes before I stood up, signaling the end of our conversation. I am grateful for the good times we shared, I told her honestly. You were an important part of my journey. But that chapter of my life is closed now. I have moved forward, and I need you to respect that. She nodded, wiping her eyes as she got to her feet. I really am sorry, Matthew. For everything. I know, I said, and I forgive you. Not for you, but for me. Carrying anger would only hold me back. At the door, she turned for one last look at the apartment, at me, at the life she had lost. Be happy, Matthew. You deserve it. So do you, Lauren. Just find it somewhere else. After she left, I stood at the window watching her walk away in the rain. I felt no regret, no second thoughts. Only peace and certainty that I had made the right choice for myself. Today my life is unrecognizable from what it was a year ago in all the best ways. My shoulder has healed completely. My career is thriving with the promotion I embraced. I have developed deeper friendships and discovered new passions. Stephanie and I have been dating for 4 months now. She understands what I went through and respects the boundaries I have established. Our relationship is built on mutual respect, open communication, and genuine care for each other's well-being. When I had a minor follow-up procedure last month, she took the day off work without hesitation, stayed by my side throughout, and made sure I had everything I needed during recovery. She showed me what partnership truly means. The greatest lesson I learned through all of this is about self-worth. Sometimes it takes losing what you thought was essential to realize the true value of who you are and what you deserve. I learned that setting boundaries is not selfish, it is necessary. I learned that walking away from someone who cannot meet your fundamental needs is not giving up. It is an act of self-respect. I also learned to be grateful for painful experiences. Without that fateful night when Lauren chose a party over me, I might have married her, might have spent years trying to earn the kind of love that should be freely given. That pain redirected me toward a healthier, more authentic life. Life does not always go as planned. Sometimes the future you envisioned crumbles before your eyes, but often something better waits on the other side of disappointment. Betrayal can break you for a moment, but it can also be the opportunity to rebuild yourself stronger and worthy of genuine love. You do not need to forgive to move forward. Sometimes letting go is the greatest gift you can give yourself. Have you ever had to make a difficult decision to protect your self-respect? If this story resonated with you, please share your experience in the comments below. Your story might help someone else who is struggling with a similar situation. And if you found value in what I shared today, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more stories of resilience and growth. Thank you for listening. And remember, you deserve someone who chooses you every time, not just when it is convenient.